In episode 200, I go solo again and talk to you about the 3 lessons of leadership that podcasting has taught me. That's right, it's about where leadership and podcasting collide today. Are you ready for this? All right, let's do it. Yes, it is your Chief Leadership Officer, Scott McCarthy, and thank you for tuning in to this uber special episode 200. Wow. I remember recording episode 50 and 100, but 200, it's amazing. It's amazing feeling to get here. And just a little background, if you're not tracking, there's about 2 million podcasts going out there right now, maybe a bit more. And a significant portion of those do what we call pod fade. And what we mean is that the host and the producers basically give up on the show after either 3 months or about 10 episodes into the podcast. And here I am now at full episode 200. And I say full episode because I have quite a number of smaller tidbit episodes that I don't really call full episodes in the past. And so we're actually recording, like, in total, well over 300 different, full, episodes incomplete of this show. But anyway, today, episode 200. It's a accomplishment. It is a feat for sure. It's definitely had its peaks and valleys, no doubt. But I do this for one reason only. I just love the feedback I get from you, the listeners, and how this show is inspiring you, how this show is helping you, the impact is having, in you, your teams, your organizations. So why not keep going every day? So that's why I'm here. It is amazing. And today I'm going to talk about what this journey of podcasting has actually done to help me grow as a leader. And I'm not talking about, the hundreds, the 150 or so world-class guests I've had on the podcast, but rather going through the process of starting a show and then, building the show to hit episode 200 and keep going. That process and what that has taught me about leadership. And the first thing with that is never be complacent. As leaders, we cannot be complacent, right? And one of the reasons why I even started this show is to get away from that complacency. I was feeling like I was stuck in a rut. I needed to expand a little bit more, feeling like my leadership journey just was stalled and not really going in a direction I wanted it to go. And that's why I said, shag it. Let's just start this podcast. And I kind of just dove right on in. So if you go back to like the back catalog of episode 1, please don't, for your own sake, please don't, because it was, I had a lot of lessons to learn, and I learned them the very hard way. Let's just say it that way. But the moral of the story is that, I didn't want to be complacent, so I wasn't complacent, and I dove in and look at what this journey has brought me on now. I didn't expect to start a world-class, Facebook group helping thousands of leaders out there. I didn't expect to be getting one-on-one coaching clients. I didn't expect to be developing this whole ecosystem and talking to world-class guests and authors. I didn't expect any of that when I started. I just wanted to talk about leadership and learn more about leadership, and felt like I had something to share with you, the audience out there. So that's why I started the show, and now I need to keep going. And now I'm actually, continuously trying to improve myself, not only as a leader now, but as a podcast host. It's even expanded more so that I, even this week, have had multiple people come to me and asking me for help on how they could start their own shows and how they can, build a following through this amazing medium such as podcasting. So the moral story is, not only am I continuously to develop my leadership skills through this show, but rather I am now even looking at developing my podcasting skills as the show goes along. I'm continuously looking into the best types of software to use, the best ways to use, different types of equipment, and so on and so forth. Why? Because I want to make sure I bring you the best experience possible. Now, with that is, I need to be ready. I need to be ready to change up my show and change up the format. And you will notice that I've done that in the past. I was doing solo shows for quite a while. Then I went into basically purely interview shows for a while. And now I'm into mixing it back up again between the two, because you, the audience, have said, hey, we like what you have to say too, Scott. These guests are amazing, but you got some good ideas too. So here I am. I am not being stagnant, but rather I am changing those things up. And I bring that to my leadership journey. Right? We cannot be stagnant as leaders because things change all the time. Look at the world we live in right now. Think, 18 months ago, 2.5 years ago, this thing called COVID, we wouldn't even thought that, but now it's literally turned the world upside down and has impacted everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. You as a leader, I as a leader, need to be ready for that. And that is what podcasting is showing, is that I need to be continuously looking at new things, new ideas, looking at the world through a different lens so that I can be ready, right? I can be ready to lead my team, lead myself, and lead my organization to get through that next hurdle. So ladies and gentlemen, never be complacent. Always be ready for the next obstacle. And we do that by continuously trying to improve ourselves. In lesson number 2 is trust, but always verify. In podcasting, I have to trust the guests that I bring on the show. I have to trust that they're going to come and bring you, the listener, some great advice, some amazing stories, and essentially make you leave the episode a little bit smarter than before, right? Now, that being said, let me tell you, I get at least half a dozen to 10 podcast interview pitches a day. I'm constantly vetting pitches for people to come on the show, which is amazing. That means that there's a lot of traction on the show. A lot of people are listening to it. A lot of people want to get on the show to, pass their message. Now, that being said, there are a lot of people out there who are essentially just trying to sell something. And what I do is I try to make sure that the person who comes on the show isn't going to be that stereotypical sleazy used car salesperson, that slaps the hood of the car saying, this is a great model, and the bumper falls off. I don't want them. And in podcasting, what that equates to is essentially them pitching to you their services, their courses, their book, whatever, every second of the show. I don't want that. That's not a great experience. You don't want to listen to that. So you've said, if you do want to listen to it, let me know. But I doubt it, right? So I trust that those people who are pitching actually do have some valuable lessons that they are going to bring to us and, talk about them and give to you, the listener. However, I need to verify. So what do? I go into their background. I go into other episodes that they've been on. I go into their socials and see what they talk about and how they represent themselves on their own socials, etc., etc. You see, I trust them, but I verify that, in fact, they're a good fit for the show. Because at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is effectively waste your time. Now, what does that mean by leadership? In leadership, we have to do the same thing. I talk about it all the time. Trust is the cornerstone of leadership. If you don't have trust, if you don't trust your people, nothing is going to happen. We need to trust. But we also need to verify that our people are doing the things that we told them to do, that they're getting the results that we expect, that we are actually conveying our intent, our vision, our mission to them in a way that is effective for them so that they can turn around and do it. So sometimes trust but verify is about, verifying that they're actually doing the things they say they do or are going to do. And the other times is verifying that they understood what you wanted them to do in the first place, right? So I trust my people immensely, probably to a fault, some people would say. But the thing is I verify. I follow up. I let them know to let me know when they hit a significant part of their project or their task, or I continuously set up regular briefs and meetings with them to follow up on their progress and how they're doing with, said project. Constantly doing that. Now, when I say constantly, I don't mean like it's every day or every minute of the day, but rather, intermittently throughout the week and throughout the month, depending on what it is. I'm verifying. And it's not because I don't trust them that they're not going to do a good job, but rather, if they do get off the path which I want them to go, it's a lot easier for me to make a minor correction along the way with these different, progress update briefs, check-ins throughout the weeks, throughout the month, than it would be if I let them go for 2 months and never talk to them about it. And all of a sudden we get too close to the final product and I go, oh my God, this is not even close to what we were expecting. See, trust but verify. Trust your people, delegate to them effectively, let them run with it, but then follow up, verify with them, and you'll see that you'll either, one, have exactly what you need, but more likely, two, you'll need to make some minor tweaks along the way. And then finally, the third lesson that doing this show has taught me regarding leadership, that is communicate how they need to hear. You see, you are what makes this show. Sure, I hit the record button, I have the fancy microphone and the recording software, and I actually am literally recording this show right now. But the moral of the story is actually you make the show. You're the person who downloads it. You're the person who listens to it. You're the person who provides me feedback and writes me and says, hey, Scott, great episode. I really enjoyed that one. And I actually implemented it and got these results. You are the ones who do that. Now, if I don't talk to you in this medium in a way that you understand, that you want to hear it. If it is completely monotone and very slow and not dynamic and not, interesting and not, if I didn't have very actionable items for you to go out and do tomorrow or even today, depending on when you listen to this episode, if I don't communicate in a way that you hear it, my downloads are going to go from thousands to zero. Why? Because you're going to stop listening to me. You're going to just go ahead and, unsubscribe and subscribe to a different show. So what does that mean by leadership? It's the exact same thing. If we don't communicate in the way that our subordinates need to hear us, then we're not going to get the results that we need and want. Frustrations are going to go through the roof because you're telling your people what you want. They hear something completely different. You get to the end result. You get upset because this isn't what I want at all. And in their mind, they're thinking, this is exactly what you said you wanted, boss. Here it is. Black and white. Boom. You told me. Here we go. So you see, the point is that now, as a leader, it's actually on us, the failures, not our people. We need to communicate how they need to hear to ensure that the messages that we are passing are actually being understood. And that is so crucial. So crucial as a leader. It is not how you communicate, but rather how people listen and understand. And if you're not getting the results that you want or need, then it takes a lot of courage, but you need to look inside and go, is it them or is it actually me? And if my downloads were plummeting, that's exactly where I would look and go, wait now, is it that I am doing a great job, but, the listeners out there are just, they're just dumb. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm just using this as an example so you can get my point. The listener's dumb. They're missing out on this great show. And the downloads continue to plummet? Or is it that I'm just producing a garbage show? Get the point? So, are you producing a garbage show? Or is it that you, as the leader, you need to communicate better in a way that they need to understand? And it's the easy way to do that. It's easy, just get them sometimes to give you a read back. And the best thing to do is always preface it with, hey, not trying to belittle you or not trying to undermine you. I just want to make sure that what I've said to you, you understood, and that I've explained it to you in a way that you understand. People will be a lot more open and thankful if you approach it that way, with going, hey, tell me what you just heard. Because what that actually comes across as is their listening skills are not up to snuff. Whereas you go, I want a confirmation that I've explained it in a way that you understand. Puts the onus on you as the leader in making sure that you communicate properly. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is episode 200 of the Peak Performance Leadership Podcast. Amazing feat. Again, so the top 3 lessons I've learned in this journey. 1, we can never be complacent as a leader. 2, we need to trust but verify always. And then finally, 3, we need to communicate how they need to hear. All right, that's it, folks. Thank you as always. It is an absolute honor to continually to produce this show for you. And I wish you all the best. And until next time, remember always, lead, don't boss. Take care now.